They tell me that it's the 1st of March. There's a few things that you can put in the ground 1st of March. And what we're gonna do today, or try to do, is we're gonna try to put us a few beets in the ground. We're gonna get to see if these wood chips has got any better than they was last year. Cause I planted some stuff in here and I know it's gonna be late last year when I planted it. And I was right. Of course, just run out of time on some stuff, but these wood chips has laid here for several months now, and you can see how dark that they've gotten underneath. And we're gonna hope that that it works out pretty good. So we're gonna get our beets in the ground anyway. Some of them. We're gonna put a row out. And I've got a couple different kinds. And what I'm gonna do, instead of trying to plant half and half, I think I'll just mix them. This string seems to be blowing a little. It's a little windy. It usually gets a little windy in March, don't it? Ain't no hurry here today now. So we'll just take our time. Just take our time. It beats all I ever seen about this one row of garlic. It just didn't come up as quick as it normally does, for some reason. And don't ask me why, because I don't know. There's certain things you can plant right now. 1st of March, you can plant lettuce, carrots. That's something I want to get out here too, is maybe some carrots. Not today. Not today. I've done planted a little lettuce today over there in a bed, a raised bed, that is. I don't like moving this stuff around too much. These wood chips. Once you get them down, I mean, you don't want to be digging around in them and stuff too much. What I'm doing is just skimming the top off, just a little. So, you know, one row of beets here, if they do good, is a lot of beets. A lot of beets, man. A little windy today. What I want to do is I'm going to go out through here one more time and just make sure that I've got the biggest stuff off now. I can get with it this time. Smooth it down a little. You got a weed or two. It's about time for them little boogers start fighting back. A little chilly today too. Now I don't know if these beets that I got, the seed, has been, you know, that good from day one. Because they just didn't come up to suit me. I mean, for the last 2 or 3 years. They just didn't come up to suit me. They surely didn't. Now, right here's the beets that we've got. I had my wife stop and get these, I think. It says Detroit beets. And these is round, it says round red beets. It's a bull's blood beet. And then of course, Detroit dark red, same thing as them Detroits. I'm gonna use all these out of this little pouch. And that's probably enough to plant the whole row, but these were germinated. See, now these, look here, I don't know how old them is, I can't remember. I think these are newer than these. But these right here were germinated, test germinated, and they germinated at 99%. And that was in 2020. That's a while. And this one was germinate tested in 2023. Yeah, 2023. And those 85% when they were tested. These come from Martin's. These come from Johnny's Seed, and these come from down here to Ace Hardware, I think. 20, 21, 22, 23. I'm going to use the Martins. I'm going to go all the way out through there with these. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to put some of these right down over the top of them. I can always thin them. Of course, when you're planting root crops in mulch or wood chips like this, you don't have to, I mean, they can be a little thicker than normal because as they expand and grow, this stuff just, it's light, it kind of moves away, so you don't have to be too concerned about getting them too overcrowded. Anyway, let's lay them off and we'll get ready to get them in the ground right quick. This won't take long. No, sir, it won't take too long. I don't want to get these too deep. I think maybe that might be what I've been doing, is getting them a little deeper than I should have. I've got a planter over there that I can use to go down through here and plant this stuff, but since I've put new chips down, there's still some pretty good sized ones. And it'll drag them big chunks over the top of your seeds, and these little seeds, you know, when they first come up, they can't move them big old chunks of wood. So you just gotta use your head a little bit, just a little bit, not much. If this wind don't quit blowing, whoo, I'm gonna have one crooked row of beets here. I'm not really too concerned about it. I've dealt with blowing strings for 30 years, putting fences up. All you have to do is just wait. If it starts blowing, take a break, rest a minute. You know, I've noticed for the last week or two, these skies have been the clearest and prettiest blue that I've seen in a long time. Now we've got some clouds moving in here that's blowing in back out of the kind of the south, well, west, I guess, kindly blowing in just a little bit. But them old jets that used to paint the skies gray and stuff, maybe they run out of spray, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I know that the skies is pretty, and they've been pretty for, just like I said, about a week or two. Most time, every time you come out, you think you're coming out into a pretty day, and then it won't be long till it'll be overcast with jet trails. You can call them contrails or trails, whatever you want to call them. Maybe Kennedy's slowing things down a little bit, reckon? I hope he does. There's a lot of stuff needs slowed down, needs stopped. I'm trying to get this row straight. I said I'm trying to. That's good as I can get it. It's like I say, I'm gonna plant these pretty thick because I want them to come up, you know, full rows. I don't want them spotted here and there. I'm gonna take these right here first. Take my gloves off. Now these seeds come from Martin Seeds. These is Detroit Dark Red. I'm gonna put them down, and then I'm gonna go right back over them, and I'm gonna put some of them others. Don't want to put these too thick because I'm going to go over them. All I want is a good stand of beets. That's what I'm wanting. And I'm getting some of them out of the row, or me and the wind is anyway. And it's like I said, you can always you can always thin these if they need it. Whew, it's windy. I've never went over these that I can remember before. I usually don't plant them as thick, I can tell you. Maybe that's why they don't come up as good. Who knows? All right. Now, that got them. Whew. Yes, sir, that got them. And I guess I could put them in my pocket. And I'm gonna take these and just dump them right in here. And you'll be able to tell the difference. You'll be able to tell the difference in them if they survive and grow. Them, there's a little difference in them. They look different, the root does. I'm talking about once you cut it. What do you think about them egg prices? I was reading yesterday, they said they was anticipating the egg prices to increase at least another 20%. Everybody talks about eggs, how high they are. I cannot tell the difference in the price of eggs. I ain't been able to tell the difference probably in the last 6 years. Seems the same to me. I just go out there and get them out of that nest. Feed, you know how a feed's pretty expensive anyway you look at it. I like to let them chickens out. I'd like to. I tried that a couple of years. They'll hit everything that's mulched around here and they'll turn it upside down. Had a mulch pile right over here. I've still got the cage. We'd move the wire and I was getting ready to rake it up and turn it a little bit. Well, the chickens had, they scattered her out pretty good. So if you've got I call it a mulch pile, what they call it, a compost pile. If you've got one, you turn your chickens loose in it. They'll compost her down for you, they'll level it out. They go after them bug stuff, but you don't want that to happen if you've got, be all right to have a fence around this garden, turn chickens loose in here, about 100 of them. They'd clean the bugs out for you, but you don't want all the bugs gone, do you? Anyway, enough about the chickens. We got down, chickens started slowing down. We switched feeds, a little bit different type of feed. And got down, and the lowest I got, one day, I got down to one egg. One egg is all I got out of my chickens. And I think I've got 16, 15 hens and a rooster. And but it warmed up a little bit. Days is getting longer. The chickens is picking up. Now we're getting 8 or 9 eggs a day. And but anyway, we got down to that one egg, and my wife, I guess, decided she was gonna buy a dozen eggs, and they were banny eggs, little small eggs. And I think I cracked one of them in the pan to see what they look like. And actually, they're still in there in the refrigerator, 11 of them. And they, compared to my eggs, they was half again as small. But anyway, that dozen eggs, I think, was $6 for a dozen of small eggs. And they are expensive. But taking everything into consideration, they're dirt cheap. But they're really economical if you raise your own chickens. Raise your own, got your own. You walk out there and you get fresh eggs every day. And all I can say is this: anybody that actually, if they really wanted to have chickens, you can have them. It's not hard to keep 3 or 4 hens. You don't need a rooster, 3 or 4 hens. And unless you eat 5 or 6 eggs a day. Anyway, that's enough about chickens. Get you some chickens. You don't have to worry about high egg prices. Let's go right out through here and we'll put these other seeds right on top of them. Right on top of them, just like them wasn't there. And we'll go right out through here just like that. We're giving them a double shot here. Double shot. A thick double shot. My logic is right here, if these seeds, the germination rate's down quite a bit on them, the reason I'm planting them so thick, because probably some of them won't come up, and if they come up too thick, if I wanted to, which is unnecessary, but I could thin them out. You can't thin something out if it ain't there, can you? Somebody's got to plant it, boys, or it won't grow. Now that's a no-brainer, wasn't it? I have never in my life planted beet seeds so thick. So we're gonna see what happens here. Maybe a good thing. Oh, and I did sow a few more turnips over there too today, where I had them last year. They got up looking good, boy. The tops, man, you talk about some fine looking tops. I didn't plant them for the tops, so I planted them for the roots, but I knowed when I planted them, I was planting them too late. And sure enough, they got up about foot tall, some of them, or more. And then that old frost come. More than a frost. It was a freeze. And bit them off. And I sewed it back. I sewed them back right in there. I meant not, I don't know what I'll do. I may actually cover them up when they come up. Because I never did put wood chips in there. And I don't want this grass getting out of hand, so we may have to chop them a little. I've been known to do that. Let's go through here and just lightly cover that stuff. And that's what I'm doing lightly too. Lightly. Did I say lightly? Lightly cover it. You know, usually as a rule of thumb, 2 or 3 times the depth that your seed is thick is most time plenty. And a lot of these seeds that I don't get completely covered, they'll work right down in there. Now, I'll just lightly go through here as usual and do this, which is a step that's completely uncalled for. So that's got our first row that we've planted in the garden in 2025. And this is a row of beets right beside the little garlic patch. I'm gonna look at this garlic here in a second. Big tomcat up there in the woods sneaking down through here. Big yellow one. Oh, long-haired tomcat. No, I'll just tell you about a garden and stuff. They're really enjoyable. You need to enjoy it when you're fooling with a garden, growing one, raising stuff. You need to enjoy it. Ain't no need to go out there and hate yourself for fooling with one. Just, it might be a real good idea this year to grow you a little garden. When I say little, grow as bigger one as you can grow. And you put up what you need and all you can put up, and the rest of it, give it to people. Give it away, sell it, do something with it. Put it on the market, is what I'm trying to tell you. Put it on the market. Because you don't know, I don't know, we may really need one. We may really need a big garden this year. I'm gonna walk through here I'm gonna walk up the rows of garlic. I planted garlic, and I made black garlic last year. Got several videos on black garlic if you want to look it up, how to make it and how I made it, stuff like that. And I was going to put more out, but I've got to the point that I've tried to grow lots and lots of garlic and stuff. And I don't know what it is with people, you know. I guess they just don't eat much garlic. I don't know. But anyway, I didn't plant near as much as I was anticipating planting. But now I didn't let it go to waste because I made black garlic, and I made a lot of black garlic. I've still got probably a gallon of black garlic in the refrigerator right now in containers where I made. And I eat them along, you know. There for a while, it's like anything else. You start eating lots of something, you get your feel of it, and you start backing off a little bit. But that black garlic is good. I like it. And I'll tell you something else now. I made it with Pahokee garlic and music garlic and elephant garlic. And I made it from ranges of brownish, dark brownish garlic, which ain't done really. It needs to go longer. And I made it all the way to jet coal black garlic. And I've also laid it out and let it dry, dehydrate, where you could grind it into black garlic powder if you wanted to. And it, you know, even though they're small, like the music garlic stuff, the little cloves once they dry out are small. You can put one in your mouth and just it'll moisten up. And but the taste is the moral of the story is this: with me, I like the taste of the elephant garlic better. It's sweeter. It gets more gummy, like a gummy bear. I guess that's because it's so big. You just take longer to dry down. I don't want it dried down. I want it just like it is. And you can put it in the refrigerator, and Lord, that'll last for months. I've heard people say, oh, it'll last in the refrigerator 2 or 3 weeks or a month or 2 months, 3 months. Shoot. It'd probably last 2 years. I've had some and I put it in the refrigerator that actually stayed 2 or 3 years. I didn't eat it, but I wouldn't have been afraid of it. I mean, it was still a little waxy, but it was good. Anyway, let's quit idling, rattling here. And we'll walk through this garlic and see how it's come up. I ain't done that yet. Now, I don't know how this happened. I started out with this row right here, and I put them the width of this hole. And then when I started over here, I thought, well, I'm gonna go 1.5 widths of the hole. And then for some reason, I jumped back here and went 1 width of the hole. But that's all right too. It just left me a little wider road to walk down. So, this one here was the slowest one about coming up. I was beginning to wonder about it, but it's come on. And these over here are, I don't know if them's music. Again, here we go. They're music or Pahokee, one of the two. 2 rows of them. And I've got 3 rows of elephant garlic. Now the kicker on these rows is longer than they were last year. I'll walk out through here and look. They're coming up. All of them's up. I don't see how they live, tell you the truth. They come up, and there's that old grass trying to get started in here. And I'm not going to allow that this year. That's not going to I ain't gonna fool with it today, but it ain't bad this here and there. But they're longer rows, just like I started saying, and they're coming up good. Just like I said, if you don't plant stuff, boys and girls, it won't grow. It won't come up. You got to plant it. Now, I plant my garlic usually somewhere around the 1st of October every year. Try to get there within a week or two of it each way. And if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to go look and see if I made a video on planting this garlic to see when I planted it. I may have planted this later, and that may be the reason that didn't come up. It's quick. You never know, I may have planted that in November. I don't remember. That old creeping Charlie, it'll take over. You've got to stay on top of that stuff. Ain't no need to try to dig it out, because you can just reach and get it and pull it out. There's no problem with getting it. See there? Hits his left side out. I just don't feel like walking around standing on my head. So that's why I usually take this hoe and just rake it right out. If you don't turn them roots up, it'll grow right back. The garlic's got a good stand. There's a good stand of garlic here. See there? I'll bring this and show you. This stuff's about like Johnson grass. I call this creeping Charlie, but I think what this is what do you call it? Purple dead nettles. That's purple dead nettles is what that is. Yeah, that's purple dead nettles. And creeping Charlie, I've got some growing over there. It's dead right now. Creeping Charlie is. It ain't dead by no means, but it's down. It ain't come out. This is purple dead nettle. Purple dead nettle. It's in the mint family. You can tell by the stalks. The stalks will be square. They're square instead of round. They're square. Purple dead nettles. That's our first row in the garden. We've got the beets out, and last year we planted 5 long rows of garlic. That garlic last year, I'm gonna say the rows was 15 or 20 foot shorter than they are this year. So the next one I plant over here, I don't know what I'll plant. I'm not gonna plant a big bunch of stuff, but that's my intention, is plant small stuff and have it coming on in stages, you know. And I've got some work to do, more wood chips to bring up. Lord, I've been blessed with wood chips. I've got a mountain of them down there, probably more than I'll ever need in my life, because I don't intend to put big areas out. I'll do Steph's flower bed here a little and around maybe a few trees, but I'm just gonna let it lay there and never fall. What needs to be put on this garden is just about 2 or 3 inches. When the leaves are coming down, while it's good cool time of the year in the fall, you start putting your little covering on your garden. And what you're doing, you're just doctoring it up for the following spring, and you'll be surprised. If people have not tried mulch and wood chips, organic covering, they don't know what they're missing. And again, I'm going to say it again. I've heard people, and I've done it myself. I run out. If you have got to have the wood chips. You've got to have the organic matter. You can't run out. Something needs to go on. Now, if you just put it on, 1 year and then you put it on pretty thick, you can skip a year or two. But you're ahead of the game if you'll put your 2 or 3 inches on every fall. And I run out. I mean, it got away from me. I had no option. I was fighting weeds daily and losing the game. I stuck a big tiller back in here and started. I had no options. Didn't have the organic matter. So I started tilling again. And I wound up heading right back in the same path, in the same direction that I was in before I started putting organic matter on this garden. Now, if you ain't got it, you ain't got but much one option. You ain't got many options. You're gonna till. You're gonna have to till and cultivate and stay after it. So I started out with red clay mud and went through the whole cycle for years and years and years. The wood chips, I finally got the wood chips, and I could not believe the results and the ease. After you get it down, the ease it was to grow stuff. And then one thing led to another over the years, and the power company started slowing down on bringing wood chips and stuff. I didn't get any. I don't know what happened. I can go into a story and tell you, but anyway, last fall, we had a run-in. I'll tell you this whole story one of these days into detail. But I run into them again and kind of convinced them to bring me some more wood chips. And they brung dozens and dozens of loads. And they ain't done. I don't imagine they're done, but anyway, I'm back to the wood chips. And that's my intentions, is that's where I'll stay. Now again, what I've said, if you've used wood chips and tried it and didn't like it, that's a personal choice and a personal problem that you don't like it. I can't figure out why you wouldn't. But I know it's easier to jump on a tractor and till the garden up than it is to move wood chips and maintain, There's a process in it. It's easy, to get out and jump on a tractor and start tilling. Then you can start fertilizing, and you can start cultivating, and you can start chopping, and you can start watering, and you can start watching your stuff dry up my drought, and you can start just like I say, fertilizing and all that stuff. But people that dog the back to Eden method, the wood chip or organic method, they start dogging that down and saying that it won't work and it's a complete mess. They don't know what they're talking about. They've never had enough wood chips to put a garden out. Now, I know some has, but like I'm telling you, now don't get me wrong, I'm saying if you have the wood chips every season to put on, it's a must. You don't just put it on one time and walk off and think that you're good set for life. It don't work that way. I mean, it would be an imbecile that would think it would. Nothing lasts forever. You put stuff down, it decomposes. That's the point. The wood chips, by putting it on fresh, is a layer of mulch on the top of organic matter that has broken down. When you put the wood chips on the garden and they break down for years and years and years, and you don't put no mulch back on top, every seed that blows in there, every little root that touches it's going to grow, because let me tell you, it'll grow anything. I've not seen nothing it wouldn't grow, as long as it'll grow in your area. See, you know, it'll grow stuff. Anyway, I don't want to get on a big rant about wood chips, but I will say this. Anybody that gets on the internet and dogs down the wood chip or organic mulch method is lacking in some kind of department in the gray matter that I can't really figure out. And I know, and I really know what it is. They either don't have the source of the chips, or ain't able to put the wood chips down. They figured out, oh my God, it's too much trouble to take wheelbarrows and put the mulch down, or they're just lazy and like sitting on a little tractor and put tilling it in. I tell you what, if you put both in one hand, and if you put the tractor tilling and cultivating in the left hand and the wood chips in the right, and you want to weigh them out, which one's the least work, they're both work. Wood chips work when you put it down, but once you get this established, you shouldn't ever consider it work. It should be a pleasure to get out there and smooth that wood chip down. That's your mulch, but that suppresses seeds that blow in. They just blow on by, you know. Anyway, if at this point in time, as much as I've wailed about mulch gardens and non-mulch gardens, if you really want to find out, dig in there and find out yourself. That'll be your best lesson right there, be your best teacher. But don't let no one say that and tell you or discourage you about mulch gardens. Get on the internet and look it up. Look up Back to Eden film. Paul Gauci. That's the one that I learned this from, Paul Gauci. And I think he's in Sequim, Washington. Paul Gauci. You can't go wrong by watching Paul. And there's a, Lord God, I can't remember his name, over in England. No dig method. Can't think of his name right now. Watched him hundreds of times. Charles Dowding, I think's his name. Charles Dowding, No Dig Garden. Watch them two. Charles Dowding and Paul Gauci. Back to Eden film and No Dig Garden, I think is Charles's name. And he's no dig man. He's very precise when he's moving roots and stuff. He don't like to dig. And I dig too much here, you know, like stuff, I'll dig it up, move it around a little. But you're interrupting, you know, an ecosystem. That's what you're after. You're building soil, you're building soil. That's what you're building. The vegetables and produce is a bonus. What you're working at is building the soil. You're building the soil, which will support just about anything that you plant in it, as far as a vegetable line and stuff like that. I've got everything in this, from currants to raspberries to mulberry trees to, Lord have mercy, apple trees, peach trees. I pushed all them fruit trees out. They just wasn't, it's because I'm facing the north. I'm on the north side of this hill. When you look at this hill, you're looking south. And too shady. Lots of fruit trees, they have to get so many hours sunshine hitting them limbs to, I'm not no expert at fruit trees. But now I'll tell you what they did do here. the stone fruit. Most of the stone fruit that I planted, and you know, for some big wild idea, I thought, well, I'll plant this stuff and it'll overcome and whatever. But man, it brung in all, and I didn't spray it. I didn't get out with this poison, toxic stuff and spray them. You know, I would rather, now I know that has to be done, but I would rather push those trees, and you can see that fence row's pretty thick. That's where those trees went. I would rather push them trees up and put them in a fence row, sit there and spray toxic poison on them every day or every week, and then get a few ripe pieces and really look good. You know it's toxic. I'm not doing it, so I pushed them out. But what I started to say, the stone fruit, the plums, the apricots, the peaches, the nectarines, man, it was like a calling card for June bugs and Japanese beetles, and starting oozing out of your little bitty fruit. Well, they're done. They're done and eat up. They're done and eat up. And I thought, and I give them year after year, I thought one more chance. And I thought, you better do good this year. And it just got to the point, for me, get them out of my way. I'd rather plant corn there. At least you fight some schmut or what do you call it, tassel corn worms or whatever they call them. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. So, we'll be back, and maybe tomorrow we'll plant us a row of carrots. Who knows? All right, that'll be it today. Go watch Duke at Rough Cut. Duke. Peace, Duke.